Hello everyone, in this task we are going to see a bit of complex task integrating both Google Sheets as well as using some for loop and making an updates directly into Google Sheet. Now in this particular task or in this particular project we'll have some inputs. We have first name, last name and middle name, and finally we need to write the full name at the end. So in the input we'll have all the three columns A, B, C, and D is what we need to populate using UiPath. We'll see with the steps. We need to create a new project and we need to add full name to Excel, and after that we need to read the range. Since we need to work with Google Sheets, we need to make sure the sheet is already available and we are trying to read the sheet. And once we have read the sheet, we need to use for each loop, and in this for each loop we need to use item.current row. In the current row you are going to get the cell ID and you need to add some values, and in that values you need to add or concatenate multiple columns like the first name, second name or middle name and the last name, and the final name will be in the full name. We need to add an activity called write cell, which is a Google Sheet activity, and you need to connect, and finally you need to write the values to it. For our project we'll be using the same web studio that we have generated earlier, and we're going to create a new sheet, and this sheet, let's go ahead and rename it as concatenate full name or full name. And in this, let's go ahead and write first name, second name, and middle name. And in the end, full name. And here, we'll just write A, B, C, and in the second name, D, E, F. And in the third name, we'll be writing H, I, J. So these are the inputs that we are going to give to our code, and we need to generate the full name. Let's go ahead into our studio. So if you are not familiar with how to open studio, just go ahead and click on here after logging into UiPath, and you will be navigated to UiPath Web Studio. Create a new project and let's go ahead and give a name. Add full name to Excel. Let's go ahead and give it over here and then hit on create. I have already connected my Google Sheets as well as Drive to the environment. So if I click on plus and or read range of Google Workspace, just make sure that is of Google Workspace. It will show you if there are any existing connections. I already have a connection, and here I need to select the file name and Drive. Double click here, double click on this one, hit on save, and the range or spreadsheet is full name and it has headers, and we need to read this information, and the output that we are going to get from here will be in the output range. Let's not do any changes. Let's go ahead and add activities. Now to read all the values from here, we can use either read range. Let's go ahead and search for each row in spreadsheet, and this is a Google Workspace activity. Click on here, and when you are giving this for each row in spreadsheet, it will already pick up the connection if it already has. If it doesn't have a connection, go ahead and add a new connection. We need to select the spreadsheet. We're going to select Web Studio, Vajrang or Web Studio, and the spreadsheet will need to be selected along with the temp. We also need to select the range. Click on this drop down and select full name. So this is the full name that we need to use, and it contains 4 columns: first name, second name and middle name, and we need to generate the full name. Let's go and click on this plus activity. Let's go ahead and assign set variable value, and here in the set variable value, let's go ahead and add few details. Now if you see here, there are few values that you can get. In the set variable, let's go ahead and add few variables or few values from the spreadsheet, and the value that you are going to get on each row is this one. For each row in spreadsheet, all I can do is you can open in expression editor, here insert a variable. In this insert a variable, we need to select current row. In the current row, what is the value that we need? Current row of first name. Okay, and then you need to hit on double quotes, just add plus before and after, and this is called concatenation. This will help you add some information in between a string. Now along with this, let's go ahead and add current row. Just go ahead and control space. This will also give you the information, control current row of, and here we have second name, and then we can add plus, add double quotes and space, and plus again current row dot middle name. So we are going to concatenate all the three values, and finally it will be saved into one single variable. And here let's go ahead and give the variable as save as a variable, and let's go ahead and give the variable as full name and hit on create. Now the value that you are going to get on each and every row will be stored inside the set variable. And let's go ahead and try to execute this, and finally we will write one more activity called write cell. But before doing that, let's go ahead and try to debug it one by one. I'm going to have a breakpoint over here, add a breakpoint. This helped me to add a breakpoint. Let's go and click on run. Now when you click on run, all the code will be executed. We have only one activity, that is for each row in spreadsheet. Now if you're seeing here, it extracted all the values. Let's go ahead and hit on this set variable next step. Now the moment you clicked on this next step, you're going to get some value out of it. You can check it from full name here. Full name is not available yet, but yeah, ADH is the full name that you're going to get from this particular row. Now if you click on continue again, it will pause for the next one, that is BEI. If you continue, it's ran successfully, so you have all the information. So CFJ is something that we need to get. Let's go ahead and see what we got. The code execution is completed. Now to add further activity, now we got all the information, or we got the concatenated values. Now we need to add it to full name. Go ahead and click on write cell activity, and this is for Google Workspace. And the spreadsheet, again select the spreadsheet, and once it is done, you need to select the sheet name and you need to select the cell. And if you're seeing here, this is in the column D, and we need to start writing from D2, and this is D3 and this is D4. When we start, we'll be starting from 0th index. Simple way to understand here is, if you want to write here, you need to add current row plus 2. Let's go ahead and see how to do that. And in what to write, we already know what to write. We have one variable to write. This is full name. That's what we need to write. In the cell 1, we can write something like this. For each row in spreadsheet, I think we have the row index. With this row index, we will get to know what range or in which row currently we are working on. Let's go ahead and click on this plus symbol, open expression editor. Here we need to insert a variable, and the inserted variable will be from this for each and current row index. And here we'll just add D, because D is the column name, and then keep a bracket over here. This current row index will be 0 from the beginning, and you need to add plus to this, so that whenever it's executing the 0th index, it will be written in D2. If it is working on the second row, it will be working, or we need to write it in D3. Let's go ahead and hit on save. If you are not able to understand this logic, write it a couple of times and you will get to know, and you can use log messages to see the values. Let's go ahead and run this one by one and see the result. Click on run. This is paused. Hit on continue. The right cell was outside the bounds of an array. I think we did not select the sheet one, so that's the reason we got it as incorrect value. Let's go ahead and correct it. Here the sheet name would be full sheet. Let's hit on save, and then this is D1 or D2 is what we need. And sorry, we did not add a plus here, that's the reason it's throwing an error. Just add a plus over here, and then dot toString to convert it to a string. This is a quick update that we must make to make it correct. Let's hit on run again. So it stopped over here. Let's hit on continue. Now it ran successfully, and if I see here, the full name will be populated anytime. This ran successfully. So all the code execution is completed and we finally got a result over here. For some reason there is some delay, but we'll still be able to get the results properly. Let's go ahead and delete again everything, and then let's go ahead and run this again to see it without any errors. Let's go ahead and remove this breakpoint and quickly run the code. The moment you run the code, all the code will be executed and the final result will be populated over here. Let's quickly wait, and we have the result over here. This is very quick when you are working for a lot of data. All I can do is I can just copy over here, and I will go ahead and add it till 130 rows. So this is the code, or this is the data that we have. Let's save it and let's go ahead and run this. Within seconds we are going to concatenate all the values using UiPath. So if you're seeing here, the data is getting generated. And finally, all the data from A, B, and C columns are concatenated to D column. Let's quickly recap what we have done. So in the beginning, we have taken a for each row in spreadsheet, and all the activities goes inside this for each row in spreadsheet. In that, we have added the connection and the spreadsheet that we want to work and the range that we need to work. This is the sheet name, and that has headers. And for each row, we are going to set a variable, and this will be like a concatenated result that we are going to get. And finally, once we have the variable updated, we need to write it back to the cell. Now the small logic that we need to understand is the row, or when we are using for loop, it will be starting from 0th index, or the index current row index will be 0. Now since we need to add it, or the first row will be starting from D2, we are adding +2 to it. Now when we are going with the next one, it will be D3. So the formula will work to update all the next rows. And here we are going to write the full name. So this is the simple activity or simple code which will help us to integrate, read the range from the spreadsheet, and to update it directly from UiPath. That's it for this session. See you in the next video. Hey amazing viewers, hope you are loving our content. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button right now.